The marble countertop gleamed under the late-morning California sun that poured through the tall windows of the Brentwood kitchen, turning every vein in the stone into a river of liquid gold. Emily Harper stood at the island, her red cotton dress hugging the curve of her waist where the white apron tied tight, the bow a perfect knot against the small of her back. Steam curled from the espresso cup she cradled, the scent of dark roast mingling with the faint citrus of the cleaner she'd used an hour earlier. She peeled the yellow sticky note from the saucer with deliberate care, the adhesive giving way with a soft rip that sounded louder than it should in the quiet house. Meet me at the boathouse. Noon. J. Her pulse stuttered. The handwriting was his, sharp and slanted, the same scrawl that had once signed permission slips for their daughter's field trips and, later, divorce papers. She glanced at the digital clock on the sub-zero. 11:17. 43 minutes to decide whether to burn the note or obey it. Behind her, the floorboards sighed. She didn't turn. She didn't need to. The reflection in the brushed steel backsplash showed Jake leaning against the pantry door, arms folded, the sleeves of his pale blue shirt rolled to the elbow. Sunlight carved shadows under his cheekbones, the same bones she'd traced with her thumb the night he proposed on the Santa Monica pier, salt wind whipping her hair across both their faces. 10 years ago. A lifetime. You're early, she said, voice steady only because she'd practiced it in the mirror that morning. Flight landed at LAX before the fog burned off. He pushed off the doorframe, footsteps deliberate across the wide plank oak. Figured I'd beat traffic on the 405. Emily set the cup down. The clink of porcelain on marble sounded like a gavel. You could have texted. Would you have answered? She met his eyes then. Storm gray, same as the Pacific before a winter swell. Maybe. He stopped on the opposite side of the island, close enough that she caught the cedar and bergamot ghost of the cologne he'd worn since college. The same scent that used to cling to the pillowcases in their old Echo Park bungalow, before the promotion, before the late nights at the firm, before the silence that grew teeth. You kept the apron, he said. It's practical. A lie. She'd bought it after he moved out, a ridiculous 50s housewife prop to wear while stress baking sourdough at 2 a.m. The red dress beneath was new, chosen this morning because it was the color of the lipstick he once said made him forget his own name. Jake's gaze flicked to the sticky note still pinched between her fingers. He still leaves you riddles. Julian likes theater. She folded the note once, twice, until it was a tiny yellow brick, and slipped it into the pocket sewn inside the apron. You didn't fly in from Seattle to discuss my fiancé's penmanship. No. He exhaled through his nose, the sound of a man bracing for impact. I came for the papers. Emily's stomach dipped. We signed everything. The mediator said. The mediator didn't know about the trust. He reached into the back pocket of his jeans and produced a slim envelope, cream stock, the law firm's embossed seal glinting like a warning. Dad amended his will 6 months before the stroke. There's a clause. If we're both in the same state for more than 48 hours, the Brentwood house reverts to joint ownership until Claire turns 25. Then it splits. Claire, their daughter, 15 last month, currently pretending to study for AP chemistry in the pool house while texting her girlfriend under the table. Emily's throat tightened. Your father hated me. He hated losing control. Jake's mouth twisted. Not quite a smile. Turns out he found a way to keep us tethered from the grave. She stared at the envelope as if it might bite. So what? We're roommates again until 2033. Unless one of us buys the other out. He set the envelope on the island, equidistant between them like a neutral country. Market values north of 8. I can't swing it. Can Julian? The name landed between them like a slap. Emily's fingers curled against the cool marble. He's in Tokyo until Friday. Some blockchain summit. Jake's eyebrows lifted. Convenient. Don't. The word cracked out sharper than intended. She softened it with a breath. Just. Don't. Silence stretched, thick as the honey she drizzled into Claire's tea that morning. Outside, a hummingbird darted past the window, a streak of emerald against the bougainvillea. Emily tracked it, wishing she could follow. I'm staying at the Fairmont, Jake said finally. Room 1218. If you want to talk numbers. I don't. He nodded once, accepting the lie. His hand brushed the envelope, nudging it an inch closer to her. 48 hours starts now, M. Clock's ticking. The childhood nickname pierced her like a splinter. She hadn't heard it since the night he packed his vinyl collection into banker's boxes, labeling them with the same Sharpie he'd used to write "Love You Forever" on the anniversary card she later found shredded in the trash. Jake turned to go, then paused. You kept the espresso machine. It's Italian. Makes perfect crema. Remember when we smuggled it back from Rome in your carry-on? TSA thought it was a bomb. She almost smiled. Almost. You flirted with the agent until she let us through. Desperate times. His eyes held hers a beat too long. Some things don't change. The front door clicked shut behind him. Emily waited until the growl of his rental faded down the street before she sagged against the island. The sticky note burned in her pocket. She pulled it out, unfolded it, read it again. The boathouse. Noon. Julian's handwriting. Yes, but the paper smelled faintly of Jake's cologne. A prank. A test. Or something worse. Her phone buzzed on the counter. A text from Claire. Pool house Wi-Fi's out. Can I borrow the hotspot? Also Dad's here. Emily typed back. Long story. Hotspots in the office. Love you. She poured the espresso into the sink, watching the dark liquid swirl down the drain like the last 10 years. The cup she set in the dishwasher, handle at a perfect 45-degree angle, the way Jake used to tease her about. OCD, he'd called it. Order in a chaotic universe. Upstairs, she changed out of the red dress into jeans and a UCLA sweatshirt that still carried the faint scent of the bonfire where they'd met freshman year. The boathouse sat on the man-made lake in the center of the gated community, a folly built by some tech mogul who'd lost his shirt in the '08 crash. Julian had a key. He liked to take investors there to seal the deal, over single malt and sunset reflections. If Jake was playing games, she'd end them there. She grabbed her keys, then paused at the fridge. Claire's school portrait grinned from beneath a magnet shaped like the Golden Gate Bridge, gap-toothed, freckled, the last photo before braces. Emily touched the image, grounding herself. Whatever happened next, Claire came first. The drive took 7 minutes. The guard at the gate waved her through. He'd known her since Claire was in diapers. The lake shimmered like hammered silver, ringed by McMansions pretending to be Tuscan villas. She parked beside Julian's Tesla, its vanity plate, BLKCHN1, gleaming with smug efficiency. No sign of Jake's rental. Inside the boathouse, the air was cool and dim, smelling of cedar and the ghost of spilled bourbon. Julian stood at the window, back to her, phone pressed to his ear. His voice carried the clipped cadence of a man closing a deal in Mandarin. When he turned, surprise flickered across his patrician features. Darling, you're early. He ended the call with a swipe. I said noon. Emily held up the sticky note. Explain. Julian's gaze tracked the yellow square, then her face. I didn't write that. Don't lie to me. I'm not. He stepped closer, the soles of his Italian loafers silent on the teak floor. But I know who did. Her heart thudded against her ribs. Jake. Jake. Julian's smile was thin, almost pitying. He cornered me at the airport last night. Said he needed to deliver a message. I thought he was drunk. The room tilted. Emily gripped the back of a leather chair. He forged your handwriting. Impressive, actually. He always was good with details. Julian poured 2 fingers of something amber into a crystal tumbler, offered it. She shook her head. He wants you rattled, Emily. The house, the trust, its leverage. For what? Julian sipped, eyes never leaving hers. To get you back. Or to punish you for moving on. With men like Jake, it's rarely just one. She laughed, a brittle sound that echoed off the water. He signed the divorce papers. Men sign all sorts of things they don't mean. He set the glass down. question is, what do you want? The boathouse door creaked open behind her. She didn't need to turn to know who it was. Jake's voice, low and steady. She wants the truth. Emily spun. He stood in the doorway, sunlight framing him like a verdict. In his hand, another yellow sticky note. This one read, I never stopped loving you. J. Julian raised an eyebrow. Subtle. Jake ignored him, eyes locked on Emily. I forged the first one. This one's real. Her throat closed. You played me. I played myself. He stepped inside, letting the door swing shut. I thought if I could get you here, away from the house, away from him. He nodded at Julian, you'd remember what we had. Julian checked his watch. I have a helicopter in 20. Emily, walk me out. She didn't move. The two men faced each other across the polished floor, the lake lapping gently outside like a heartbeat. Emily felt it in her teeth. Both of you, she said, voice steady now, get out. Julian opened his mouth, thought better, and left. The Tesla purred to life, then faded. Jake stayed. No. She held up a hand. You don't get to rewrite history with post-its. You left. You chose the job in Seattle, the corner office, the life without soccer practices and science fairs. I stayed. I baked the fucking sourdough. I was drowning. So was I. She stepped closer, close enough to see the flecks of gold in his irises. But I didn't forge your handwriting to manipulate you. He flinched. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't buy back 8 years. She drew a breath that tasted of cedar and regret. The house is yours. I'll sign whatever you need. Claire and I will find something smaller. Closer to school. She starts driver's ed next month. Did you know that? Her voice cracked on the last word. She hated it. Of course you didn't. Jake's shoulders sagged. He looked suddenly older, the lines around his eyes etched deeper by the slanted light. I'll tear up the trust amendment. Dad's lawyer owes me a favor. Don't. She surprised herself with the steel in it. Let the house be joint. Claire turns 25 in 10 years. We'll be civil. For her. He nodded. Slow. Civil. Emily walked past him, out onto the dock. The sun had climbed higher, turning the water into a mirror. She pulled the second sticky note from his fingers, crumpled it, and let it fall. The yellow speck drifted, caught a breeze, and vanished. Behind her, Jake's voice was almost lost to the wind. The espresso machine still makes perfect crema. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. Some things, once broken, stayed broken. Others, like the hum of the Italian machine, the scent of dark roast at dawn, lingered like ghosts, reminding you what home used to taste like. Emily got into her SUV, rolled the window down, and let the Pacific breeze whip her hair across her face. She had 41 hours left on the clock. Plenty of time to figure out what came next.